The anime Skeleton Knight in Another World introduces us to the protagonist, a gamer from Japan who finds himself trapped in the body of his game character, an 8 feet tall skeleton knight with powerful armor and weapons. The anime starts off with 2 young girls who are about to be attacked by bandits in a forest. Just in the nick of time, the skeleton knight, now known as Ark, appears and saves them from the bandits. Ark, being aware that his skeletal appearance would make him a target, decides to keep his helmet on at all times and renames himself Ark, using his game character's name. As Ark explores the new world he has been transported to, he encounters a female elf in the first city he comes across, but she quickly disappears. With no money to his name, Ark decides to become an adventurer and obtain his license by slaying 3 enemies. In the forest, he successfully defeats a bull boar and an orc, but while searching for his 3rd enemy, he stumbles upon a group of bandits attacking a coach. At first, Ark contemplates whether he should intervene in the bandit attack, but his decision becomes clear when he notices the 2 young ladies. Fueled by his sense of justice, Ark violently kills the bandits, saving the noble Lauren Louvert and her maid, Rita. However, while they are recovering, Ark discreetly loots all the valuables from the bandits. After the ordeal, Ark escorts Lauren and Rita to the nearby town. With the bandits and orcs slain, he finally earns his adventurer's license and uses the stolen loot to enjoy his first meal in this new world. Realizing that he might be permanently stuck in this unfamiliar realm, Ark decides to embrace his new life and have fun. Ark accepts the task of escorting Marka, who is in a hurry to start her herb collection. Marka explains that she wants to keep her mother, Siona, who has become overprotective since the death of Marka's father, unaware of her activities. As they venture into the forest, they come across an injured kitsune. Ark uses his healing abilities to nurse the kitsune back to health, and the creature decides to stay with Ark. Ark names the kitsune Panda after its fluffy tail. Meanwhile, Siona discovers that Marka has left the village, just as hunters arrive with news of an extremely dangerous monster lurking in the forest. Unaware of this information, Marka leads Ark to a tree known for valuable medicinal flowers. However, they find that the tree is now the territory of a basilisk, a formidable monster. Fortunately, Ark has experience fighting basilisks from his gaming days and swiftly defeats it. He asks Marka to keep this victory a secret to avoid drawing unwanted attention. During the battle, Ark notices a magic ring on the basilisk's body. However, the ring shatters and disappears after the monster's demise. With the task completed, Ark escorts Marka back to Siona, along with a giant fanged boar that he had slain early, which would provide a feast for the villagers. After bidding farewell, Ark continues his journey. Later that night, soldiers come across the corpse of another basilisk that has been slain. They notice that it was killed by a single strike with an incredibly large sword and wonder who could have accomplished such a feat. Meanwhile, in town, Ark and Panta enjoy a well-deserved feast. Ark accepts a job that leads him to confront bandits hiding in a forest cave, claiming their treasure as his loot. Meanwhile, the true motives behind the attack on Lauren Louvert are revealed. Lord Triton Dinto, who orchestrated the failed assassination, discloses that he was ordered by Prince Dakares to destabilize the kingdom in preparation for an imminent war. Additionally, Triton is angered by his son, Udalan, who has put himself in danger by leading an illegal slave operation. In the forest, a female elf observes Ark emerging from the bandits' cave and assumes he is responsible for kidnapping elf children. She attacks him but soon recognizes Panta, the forest spirit creature accompanying Ark. Realizing that Ark couldn't be a kidnapper due to Panta's presence, she ceases her assault. Although Ark offers his assistance, the elf refuses and leaves. The following day, while attempting to locate the female elf, Ark discovers a group of kidnapped elves being tortured by Udalan and his men. The female elf, witnessing the scene, proceeds to eliminate most of the slavers but is forced to surrender when Udalan threatens the safety of the children. However, Ark intervenes, overpowering Udalan and protecting the children. Impressed by Ark's actions, the female elf finishes off the remaining slavers. Ark then proceeds to free the captives and uses his magical abilities to heal their wounds, astonishing the elf warrior, who introduces herself as Arian Glenny's Maple. Although she refuses to believe that Ark is merely a simple adventurer, she recognizes his trustworthiness. Arian receives a message indicating the location of more enslaved elves and proposes hiring Ark's services to assist her in rescuing them. Ark and Arian, accompanied by the elf Danka, travel to the town of Dinto to carry out their mission of rescuing enslaved elves. Upon arriving in Dinto, they meet Arian's fellow elf comrade, Danka. However, Danka immediately displays mistrust toward Ark. Despite this, he is surprised when he witnesses Ark's ability to use teleportation magic and earn the trust of both Arian and Panta, the forest spirit creature. As their planned attack on the slavers' warehouse is scheduled for later, Ark decides to go on personal errands, which simply involve finding a private place to enjoy a meal. Meanwhile, Arian confides in Danka, expressing her perceived failure in a recent encounter where she almost got captured and had to be saved by Ark. She also compares herself unfavorably to her older sister, Even. In the town, Ark purchases food for himself and Ponta and finds a deserted alley where he can safely remove his helmet and eat. Unbeknownst to him, a shadowy figure watches their movements from a nearby rooftop. Later, as Ark, Arian, and Danka proceed with their mission, they infiltrate the slavers' warehouse only to discover that all the slavers have already been skillfully assassinated. Ark's otaku enthusiasm kicks in when he realizes that the assassin is a female ninja with cat ears. Surprised that Ark even knows what a ninja is, the female ninja recognizes Ponta as a forest spirit creature and determines that Ark can be trusted. She hands over stolen documents that reveal the names of nobles who have purchased elf slaves and provides the location of the slaves held by Lord Triton. However, she reveals that the elf slaves were not her main objective, hinting at a hidden agenda. After successfully freeing the enslaved elves, Danka becomes increasingly amazed by Ark's magical skills and starts to trust him more. As a result, he allows Ark and Arian to proceed alone to Triton's palace. Meanwhile, the female ninja, accompanied by a towering companion, observes their actions from a distance, hoping for another encounter with Ark in the future. Ark and Arian's journey takes them to the capital city of Olaf, and eventually leads them to the vast elf settlement of Lalatoya. After their failed attempt to silently infiltrate the castle, Ark and Arian manage to capture Lord Triton and his son, Udalan. They also come across two female elf slaves who have been subjected to sexual abuse by Triton. Seeking revenge, the elf slaves take matters into their own hands and inflict punishment on Triton. Meanwhile, Ark discovers a hidden treasure within the castle and decides to take it for himself. He justifies his action by explaining to Arian that the stolen gold will prevent the slavers from using it to rebuild their organization. Unexpectedly, explosions shake the palace, suggesting the involvement of the female ninja who had previously assisted Ark. Suspecting her hand in the chaos, Ark remains wary. Arian proposes that they visit the elf lands together to continue their efforts in rescuing slaves. However, Ark realizes that he will need the permission of an elder elf to enter their lands and expose himself without his helmet. Removing his helmet, Ark reveals his skeletal face to Arian, explaining that his appearance is the result of a curse. Although initially shocked, Arian assures Ark that all elves will keep his secret and expresses hope that the elder may have a solution to his appearance. Meanwhile, in the human kingdom of Olaf, King Karlon and his children, Sekt, Dakirs, and Uriarna, decide to investigate the rumors of slavery, which violate the human-elf peace treaty. They plan to reach out to the elves for assistance. However, hidden agendas lurk within the royal family. Uriarna suspects her brother Dakirs of being involved in the slave trade, while Sekt appears to have the plan to expose him and strengthen his own claim to the throne. After several days of travel, Ark and Arian finally arrive at Lalatoya, a massive elf settlement nestled deep in the forest. The stage is set for new encounters, challenges, and discoveries as they navigate the intricacies of the elf lands. Ark arrives at the elven settlement of Lalatoya, where he meets the elder elves, Dylan and Glennie, who are also Arian's parents. Dylan expresses gratitude for the successful rescue of the slaves, but he is concerned about the repercussions of the attack on Triton's palace. Dylan and Arian set off for the elven capital of Maple to inform the other elders about the situation. Meanwhile, back in Lalatoya, Glennie's challenges Ark to a sparring match to test his strength and ability to protect Arian. Despite his high combat stats, Ark realizes that raw power does not necessarily equate to skill, as he is defeated multiple times by Glennie. This humbling experience teaches him the importance of honing his combat techniques. In the elven capital, the elders discuss the situation and the risks of provoking a war with humans. They decide to continue rescuing slaves in secret to avoid escalating tensions. Arian is surprised to learn that her older sister, Even, is getting married, as she had always sworn never to marry. In the midst of their daily activities, Ark decides to take a bath. However, when Arian accidentally enters the bath while naked, she panics upon seeing Ark in his full skeletal form and instinctively unleashes explosions at him. The encounter further emphasizes the need for Ark to find a solution to his appearance.